This one to all my chicks out here making changes on the planet. I know this one chick who'll sell a bunch of hair weed. Shouldered out the car, stacked her paper. Next thing I know, shorty got a shot. Caramel with a killing salon. This how the whole block got on. One dream now million. She won. This one's to all my girls who ran for profession. Supermodel, super follow, get 'em. This year of the boss babe queen. Write a book, start a business dream. Oh, yes girl, you go. Have a party at the bank, take a shot, celebrate. She won, she won, she won, she won. Don't try to deny it, she on fire and you like it, click her heart 2 times. She won. She be winning and you like it, you be watching, you inspired, don't deny it, it's alright. She won. Don't try to deny it, she on fire and you like it, click her heart 2 times. She won. She be winning and you like it, you be watching, you inspired, don't deny it, it's alright. This one's to all my pretty chicks with makeup brushes, backstage in the dressing rooms all night. What about my bells at the bar, working off these tips all night? You never know. Baby, she hustling, stacking her dough, cause she wanna go to school. I met a nurse last week, off the pole last year, off the street for that, from the projects. Don't judge, every boss babe need love. Last word from the man above. If you make it and win, apologize for your sin and trust. She won. Don't try to deny it, she on fire and you like it, click her heart 2 times. She won. She be winning and you like it, you be watching, you inspired, don't deny it, it's alright. She won. Don't try to deny it, she on fire and you like it, click her heart 2 times. She won. She be winning and you like it, you be watching, you inspired, don't deny it, it's alright. Don't apologize for what she had to do to make it out. The tunnel vision of the tunnel line. Never looking, never finding why she winning by design. And if divine is the divine, then it's the God inside. Mama, when she harvesting, humble beginning, ending marveling. Some marvelous work, when God lift you up, and everyone look, and everyone judge. Yes, she won, watch the life of the just, the righteous. She won, she won, she won, she won.
You seen the glitz, you seen the glam, but do you understand the grind? Do you understand our story? Why we started, why we keep going? Well, tune in every Monday at 8 p.m. to really understand why we rock with your host, Tashaya Simone. On tonight's episode, we have Yolehema Felican. She will be sharing her journey on life and business. So get your snacks, sit back and relax, and kick it with us as we keep it real with you on Black People Rock. Hey everyone, it's your girl Tashaya Simone. How are you today? How's everyone's day going so far? I just want to introduce myself. My name is Tashaya Simone. I am the owner of Black People Rock Honors. I honor people for their work, achievements, and positive influence in and around the community. And yes, I wanted to take it a step further and share my platform to tell your story, why you started, why you keep going. You know, we see the glitz, we see the glam, we see what we post on social media, but you don't know people's story. You don't know what they've been through and what they had to conquer to get to where they are today. So I wanted to share this and open this up to other entrepreneurs, community leadership, and just people out there just walking in their purpose and doing what God has called them to do. So I do want to take this time to congratulate all the honorees for Black People Rock Honors 2021. Yes, we are going on tour in 2021, Lord willing. If it's, he gave me the okay to go ahead. So as long as, he sees fit for it, we will be on tour next year. Please check your emails. There's a lot of work that goes in. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it work. I love what I do, but there's a lot of time and, everything that goes into planning this and getting the preparations for sending out the nominations and, the nominations coming in. To nominate our kings and our queens to walk that stage, to be celebrated on that night. We started back in September with the nominations, and we got a lot of nominations. And I'm very thankful that you thought of people and you loved on people to say we want to celebrate them. So it was, going through all the nominations, and we have about 80 honorees for next year for Connecticut, just for Connecticut. We're going to be going to Maryland, Charlotte, North Carolina, and then we're going to be ending in Atlanta, Georgia next year. So we have about 80 honorees. So whatever emails I got that when people nominated you, that's where I sent it to. And if they didn't leave an email, I had to search and try to find an email for you. So, please definitely respond. We need to definitely get a response within the week so that we can move forward and do what we need to do. I'm just excited that God has allowed me to do this. I prefer this. This is another thing that I call ministry, sharing my light and just shining a light on you guys and loving on you and letting you know we see you working hard, and we celebrate you. But I just wanted to say congratulations. I love you even if I don't know you, and I'm honoring you. I celebrate you, king and queen. But without further ado, we are here for Black People Rock Live series, and we have an amazing queen that is coming on tonight to be sharing her journey on life and business. And I'm so excited to have her on. We're going to call Yolehema, and she is going to come on with us tonight. And just hey to everybody, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, you comment, and you share the broadcast so everyone else can see the interview for tonight. So I'm going to bring this queen on.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good in yourself. You look beautiful tonight.
Why, thank you. So do you.
As always, you do.
Thank you.
So I am excited to have you on tonight, and also congratulations on being honored for Black People Rock Honors 2021 Queen for the Go Getter Award. Yes, Queen.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. We're going to jump right in, Queen. Just tell them who you are, what you do. Introduce yourself.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Yolehema Felican. I'm 30 years old. I was born in Waterbury, Connecticut. I was raised in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Educated in the Bridgeport public school system up until college, where I went to Fairfield University. Then went and pursued my graduate degree at Fordham University. Currently, in my current capacity, I am the Associate Director of Student Diversity and Multicultural Affairs at Fairfield University. I am also a therapeutic support staff, a job coach, and a life coach at my part-time position. And as of recently, the owner of Yo Bar, professional mobile bar services. Just to kind of go back a little bit into my professional history, is I have a long history of mentorship. Mentorship is really rooted in who I am and my purpose and my passion and what I'm here to do. And also, I just want to share that I was also the head coach for high school cheerleading, my alma mater, Bassick High School, which, I may talk about just a little bit later, but that really, really impacted who I am and my characteristics that I've developed into professionalism and into the professional world. As I was only 19 years old when I became the head coach for a high school cheerleading team. So you can imagine how difficult that was as a pretty much kid herself. Having to be a role model and having, to really tackle some tough decisions. And that's one of the experiences that were truly life-changing for me, and really seeing the impact and being more than a coach and what coaching even means, right? And it's so much interwoven with mentorship and things of that capacity. So again, really grateful to be here. And I know that we'll be unpacking other things throughout the night. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm here to be an open book. So to share.
Awesome. Well, that was quite an intro. Associate Director at Fairfield University, amazing queen. And let's talk about 19 years old coaching at Bassick. Like, how did that come about? What was your journey in that? And I know that doing that kind of prepped you for some things that you're dealing with as of right now.
It didn't kind of, queen, it prepped me. Okay. I'm telling you right now, the 19-year-old girl having to deal with some real life adult situations because you had an entire team looking up to you and not knowing what to do in that, in that moment. A little bit about that is I was a Bassick cheerleader for 4 years when I was in high school. I then went to Fairfield University and I had a choice. I was very passionate about cheerleading. So I wanted to try out for Fairfield's cheerleading team, but I knew how passionate I was about it and I didn't want it to interfere with my studies. So I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to go that, into it. So I actually joined the hip hop dance team when I was at Fairfield, but it wasn't my passion. And, you'll probably hear me saying passion and purpose a lot throughout this interview tonight. And it's just something I didn't want to continue to pursue because that's not where I was supposed to be. So then it was either to apply for the head coaching position, or try out for the team. And again, I'm very much deeply rooted in mentorship. So I decided to take a leap of faith and actually apply to be the head coach at Bassick. There were other people who were applying at the same time. There were teachers who were applying. And I'm like, I'm this 19-year-old little girl. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get it. But I was encouraged by my support system. You know what? Just go ahead and do it. If it's for you, it's for you. And that's also just reaffirming that whatever's for you will be for you. I'm this 19-year-old little girl up against teachers and other professionals, but my heart was in it. And I will never forget my interview. I was interviewing with the citywide athletic director. And he was like, when did you graduate? And I'm like, last year, but so ready to take on this, this huge task. But either way, I just learned so much. I learned so much throughout my journey. There's just countless people that I mentor. It's very interesting because some of my former cheerleaders will see me today and they'll still call me Miss Yolehema. And I'm like, sis, you're like 27, okay? Like, it's just Yolehema, but again, in the capacity that they have met me and the capacity I have in their lives. So I can sit here all day and talk about cheerleading and coaching and the impact that it's had on my life. But feel free to ask any questions about it. But definitely it was at that moment that I knew that it was bigger than me. And that's probably something else that I'll say, interview, that it's bigger than me. And that's when I was first introduced to it. I didn't really understand it, but that's when I was truly first introduced to it.
Amen. It is bigger than you because you've impacted lives. You may have thought it was just, okay, I'm applying for this job, but God was setting you up for something bigger. He was setting you up to mentor. He was setting you up to prepare you for the other things that he had in store for you. So that's truly amazing. 19 other people up for it. But like you said, what's for you is for you and no one can stop it. So that position was for you, Queen. And I love what you said about you could have did dance, but it wasn't your purpose. It wasn't your passion. And I heard someone say the other day, there's a whole bunch of things that we can do. We can jump in stuff and just do it. But if it's not for us to do and it's not set aside for us to do those things, then why jump in and do it? Do what you were called to do and stay in your lane. So I'm glad that you did what you did. And I'm glad that you applied for it. And look at they still respect you. Let them call you Miss. That's respect. They respect you. So, we young, so we don't want to be called Miss. But even with being in the South, you're going to be called Miss and Mr. I hear all the time. Yes, ma'am. No, so it's okay. They love you and they respect you. And you set the bar high and you did your thing and you have showed them what it is to succeed. And you showed them that at any age, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. And if it's for you, it will be for you. So that's amazing. Yes. And let's get into Associate Director, Fairfield University, 19 head coach, not just the assistant coach, head coach of Bassick's cheerleading team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have opened your own business. What made you start a mobile drink service? What made you do that?
So when I was in college, I just enjoyed making drinks. So what I want to say was my senior year, I used to do like strawberry daiquiri Saturdays, and I would just get excited about making drinks. I actually broke my mama's blender senior year. So sorry, mama, if you're watching this. But it was just something fun to do. I didn't really think about it as like a career or anything of that sort. Age 22, I got my own apartment. Shortly after, I purchased my home bar. So I had a home bar. So it's like, you know, you can do whatever you want at that point. And again, I would just make drinks for family gatherings, you know, and things of that sort. And I just always had an interest. And there's a status that I share on Facebook every time it arises because it says, I just got off the phone with Connecticut bartending school. I'm going to go. And I was so excited. But I always did a lot. So my schedule was just far too strenuous for me to add something else. There was literally no time in the day. Going back to age 19, not only was I the head cheerleading coach, but I was working 4 jobs and I went to 2 schools. So I went to Fairfield full time and I had to go to Norwalk Community College part time because I had to get my coaching license. And Norwalk Community College was the only place that did it. So it's like I'm used to really, you know, doing a lot. At that time, when I wanted to go to bartending school, I was working 3 jobs. I was a full-time graduate student and I had an internship as well. So there was literally no time in the day for me to do that. So it was always like a dream deferred for me. So I was like, you know, it was something cool. And I think too, the reason why I wanted to do it was because a lot of what I do is, you know, I'm in the social work profession. So, you know, sometimes that can get really draining. It's very rewarding, but it can also be draining. And I wanted something to kind of counteract it and be like fun and exciting and something that I can do. But again, going back to having a really busy schedule, it just didn't really allow that. So I kind of forgot about it, you know, again, was doing it in my own little realm. My friends come over. I love to host. I'm a host. I love to invite people in. I love to welcome people. I'm a host at heart. I truly am. So either way, I kind of forgot about it. I was like, you know, whatever. And then just for fun, I got certified in bartending. This was about 2 years ago, just because I wanted to. Not because I was thinking about like a business plan or anything of that sort. But it was just always something on my mind. And then I just started thinking about, I saw there was a private bartender. I went to an event and there was a private bartender, but they didn't have their own bar. It was just like a private bartender. And I'm like, you know, as I'm getting older, I'm in like my late 20s at this point. I'm like, that's something that I would do. But I had to continue to like fester out this idea. I wasn't really sure what that looked like. And I was like, oh my God, that would be so cool if I had like my own bar. So I went online, I was searching for different bars, but a lot of them for me was like, it just wasn't it. You know, like you see it and I'm like, these look like little lemonade stands. I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna start a business like with these little pop-up things. And that's just how I felt. And I'm like, you know, maybe it's not, you know? And again, I'm big on timing. I truly believe that timing is everything. So again, I was just like, you know, maybe again, it's a dream deferred. But then fast forward to 2020 during COVID, this idea started to resurface. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I should. And I continued to do my research. I had more time. You know, during the shutdown, when everything was closed, it's like you had nothing but time on your hands. So I used that time wisely to really look at different bars. And then when I found it and I created, you know, well, actually my sister and my brother co-created my logo. So it's just awesome. And then seeing, you know, it on the cloth and on the umbrella, I'm like, this is it. It was that moment. But again, the reason behind that too is that I love celebrating people. So it's like being able to be invited into different areas. Like I've been invited into different spaces that I wouldn't normally be in, right? I mean, I know people who have booked me, but I wouldn't necessarily be invited to that housewarming or to that birthday party or whatever the case is. But I mean, at the core of my being, I love to celebrate people. Like I truly love to celebrate people. I love birthdays. That's the day you were born. Random aside, I am a brat when it comes to my birthday. And if that's my toxic trait, so be it, because the one day out of the year, it's that's about right. I was born. But I echo that same sentiments and those same feelings to other people and just love on them so hardly. So you know, again, I'm a host at heart. So being a bartender is being a host, right? And I don't treat any of my clients any differently than I would if they came into my home, if I was welcoming them into my home. So it's like second nature to me. I love what I do. I love the spaces that I was, you know, I had the opportunity to be invited into. It just sits so well on my heart when people, you know, inbox me or they DM me and they're just like, I love your energy and like, I want you to be part of my special day. When I tell you, I don't take that for granted. Lord, as my witness, I don't take it for granted. And I just love it. I mean, and truly it's everything that I thought that it would be. And I'm so glad that I did not allow it to be a dream deferred, because before opening my business, just to backtrack a little bit, is I had two options. I either had to allow it to be a dream deferred, or I had to take this risk. I had to say, open it, do it, see how it works, and then go from there. Because at the end of the day, it's always better to say I did it. It's always better to say I did it so you can see what happened. If it didn't work, cool, but you did it. So again, I'm just really grateful and really excited that, you know, I was able to do that. And people know, I never said, you know, I want to be an entrepreneur. That was never like my goal. Like that was never, you know, that was not really the vision that I saw for myself. But what I did see was an opportunity to do something in the capacity that I am in right now and in the space that I am in to do. And so I went for it.
Awesome. That's amazing. I love how you said timing is everything. Just that alone, timing is everything. And you have to know when to put things out. And look, we were in a whole pandemic and look what happened. You had to work on what it is that you were supposed to be doing. So it was like, it worked out perfect for you because you didn't have the time. You just didn't have the time to do any of that stuff. But then you were able to sit down and work on your craft, and look what it's doing for you. You really do shine in this, the pictures that I see, and I can see that you love what you do. And I can tell that you're a hostess. I love hosting and I love events. I love doing events. And I love, like you said, I love celebrating people, genuinely celebrating people. And I can tell that about you. So it's amazing that this is what you're doing. What are some of the drinks that you make? And do you make like non-alcoholic drinks? Because there are some people that may have, you know, church events and things, but do you service those type of events that people may not drink alcohol?
Absolutely. We make mocktails. So my friend, I think she crowned it the no-hito. So she doesn't drink, and she came to my launch and people were getting mojitos, and it was the no-hito because it doesn't have the rum in it. Whatever you want, whatever you like. And also serving. So I always tell my clients, give me whatever you have. You know, you have extra sodas or you have whatever it is. So people can also feel included when they come to the bar, and you don't feel that you have to drink alcohol in order to come to the bar. This is a time for people to socialize and people to connect with one another, being in this area, but you don't actually have to consume alcohol in order to be included in that. So, I mean, I do it all, whatever you like, you know.
That's amazing. So listen, book her. You know, if you don't drink, and you may feel like you thought it was like a mobile bar where she just serving all these cocktails and mojitos and, you know, a lot of things of that nature. But no, she services anybody. So you can have her at your birthday party, your church service, and she will service you. So I love that. I love that you are flexible in that area and you just don't have one audience. So that's truly amazing. With starting your... Go ahead. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I was just going to point out that my first gig after I launched was a Sweet 16. So
awesome.
we had no choice but to have, you know, a bunch of mocktails, which was really fun. And when people came up, it was like, I think that people felt good at the fact that we didn't have to change around the menu necessarily. If it's like, you want a strawberry daiquiri, you can have a strawberry daiquiri. There's a strawberry daiquiri without alcohol, which is a mocktail. And then there's a strawberry daiquiri with alcohol, you know? So being able to just say, I want this, but, you know, without or with or whatever the case may be. So
that's amazing. I know what you just starting out this year, but you've already been like preparing for it. And what are some tips you think that are necessary when you're trying to run a business or start a business?
For me, for first and foremost, I would say customer service is key. I'm, like I said, I'm a host and I know myself, and I know myself as a consumer, and I also know myself as a business owner. but customer service is everything. Without your clientele, honestly, as a business owner, you're nothing. I mean, just to be honest. And you really have to take care of your clients. I would also say to set SMART goals, not just regular goals, but to set SMART goals. And for those who aren't familiar, a SMART goal, it's an acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. You have to set deadlines. You have to be specific with what you want to do to ensure that you achieve these goals. And I would also say to pace yourself. You know, it gets very, very overwhelming. I mean, I found myself in a corner in my living room for hours, like drafting up a contract. And I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't eat. And I was like, you know, or I got to run out and I got to do something. Because you can get so focused and so consumed. But you really have to pace yourself. Another tip is you don't have to know everything. You know, to open a business, you don't have to have all your ducks in a row. You know, I know for a fact I didn't. All I knew was I had a vision, I had a plan. I was like, I want to do something, you know, and let it work itself out too. And let God work it out, whatever it's supposed to be. Because what you'll know too is when you allow God to work it out for you as well, is your business may flourish into different areas, into different avenues that you didn't even think, because your vision was, you know, big, but God's vision was so much bigger for you. So don't feel like you have to know everything. You truly don't. I don't know everything. I still don't know everything. I mean, I've only been in business for 5 months. And I'm very open about saying I don't know everything. I'm figuring this out, and I'm not afraid to ask for help. And that's a tip in of itself.
And as you go along, like you said, as you go along, God will give you direction on how to move, you know, so you don't have to know it all. If he told you to go for it, do it. And walk in whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. And you don't have to have all your ducks in a row, but you have to start somewhere, because if you don't start, you'll never know what could come of it. And I'm glad you started, Queen. I'm so glad you started. Yes. Was there a time you wanted to throw in the towel? And I know you just started off in business. So was there a time you wanted to throw in the towel just in life or in business? Either one you can answer.
Absolutely. So as far as it pertains to business, no, but when it pertains to my life's calling and my pursuit of a higher education position, absolutely. I mean, when I say absolutely, so I'll just talk a little bit about that journey and really what that looked like for me. So I'm going to backtrack to 2016 when I graduated with my master's from Fordham University. So at this point, you know, I'm the most educated I've ever been. You know, I feel the most equipped that I've ever been, the most quote unquote confident that I've ever been, or so I thought. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. For me, grad school was that opportunity to really figure it out. Growing up, I felt like I had to be the person with a plan because people looked at me as the person with a plan. So I felt like I had to kind of fake it till I made it because that's what people looked at me as. It wasn't until I got to grad school that I was like, I really don't know. You know, my friends were like, I want to be school social workers. I want to work for DCF. I want to do this and I want to do that. Just to backtrack in terms of my graduate studies, I did pursue an MSW. So I have a master's of social work from Fordham, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I had an aha moment on my way to my internship, which was actually at Child and Family Guidance in Bridgeport. And I was like, I want to be in higher education. And just to, again, rewind a little bit, is my previous position, I was in secondary education, and I was a supervisor for a college access program, helping students to get to college and to understand that college is a viable option for them, and particularly to address the high dropout rate in the Bridgeport public schools. And again, to reaffirm, to say, like, you can actually do this, right? And to have that person in your corner to believe in you, but not only to believe in you, because sometimes people believe in you and it can potentially provide this false sense of hope in a sense, right? Because it's like, you're saying I can do it, but you're not providing the tools and the strategies that I need. So we also did that too. It was a motivation as well as, you know, equipping you to do this. So I was in education, you know, professionally, since I, you know, had my professional journey. And I said that I want to be in higher education. So I was like, all right, start applying for higher ed jobs. And then I was so confident that I was going to get a higher ed job in maybe like 6 months from when I applied, that I volunteered. I worked for a nonprofit at the time, and I volunteered to be only written into the contract for 6 months. Because I was so confident. I was like, well, I'm gonna get a job. I got my master's, you know, whatever the case is. 6 months came, and I definitely did not have a job in higher education. AKA I did not have a job at that point, because it was like, you're only in the contract for 6 months. So now what do you do? I mean, granted, I'm thankful for my part-time job, because I've had my part-time job for about 8 years now. But to go from this person that kind of like had it all together to then feeling like I didn't really have anything, right? Because I don't have a full-time job. And I'm a person, I hold my career at a very high esteem, on a very high pedestal. For me personally, my career is everything. For some people, it's like, you know, I want to be a mom, I want to be a wife, I want to be this, and I want to be that. I was always like, I want to be a career woman. Like that was the thing for me. Like that trumped everything else for me. So now I didn't have that, you know, now I didn't have that stability. And I mean, that's when like the hustle really came real for me. I was working everywhere and anywhere at that point. I became a substitute teacher, for those who don't know. I was working at my part-time job for 40 hours. I was working like 75 hours a week just to have a savings account, whatever the case is. Oh my God. But at the same time, to backtrack just to on the topic of discussion, was I was getting rejected left and right. I mean, I've gotten more rejections than I could imagine, like than I can truly imagine. And to be honest with you, it did something for my self-esteem, because I'm like, I'm the most educated I've ever been. I'm the most quote unquote confident I've ever been. Like I should be in my prime. Like I should be where I'm supposed to be. Because growing up, you know, life wasn't easy at all in any way, shape, or form. But into adulthood, it's kind of like you saw the fruits of your labor. I worked hard, I got good grades, I did this and I did that, and it aligned with one another. But this happened for a good 2 years. And it was very, very, very difficult, you know, for someone who holds their career on such a high pedestal, who didn't have one. It's like, what does that look like? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe higher education is not for me. Like, maybe that's not, I was like, God, like, talk to me. Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. There's no way that you can have me out here in these streets doing every and anything, you know, trying to make a buck, like, you know what I'm saying? Being a substitute teacher, working at these group homes, doing this and doing that, and picking up shifts and working first, second, and third shift and doing all of these things. I'm like, God, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, that's how I felt at the time. And, I was just like, you know what, maybe I'll be a social worker. And I said that, and I said, you know, if that's the case, I'll just do that. And I don't mean just as you know, lowering any capacity of social work, because it is a very, very hard and difficult job, but it's not something that I necessarily wanted to do as a profession, but I knew it was something that I was qualified to do. I knew that I would do a job as a social worker because of my background. I've been working in social work for years. I've worked in substance abuse, the psych unit, group homes, child guidance, you name it. I've done those things, but I'm like, I'm supposed to be in higher education. Like, there's a purpose for me. And it was so hard, because I'm like, but I still don't have this full-time job. I still don't have this career that I hold so near and dear. And at that time, let define me. Like this is who I am. So now Yolehema doesn't have a career. Who am I? You know, so it's like that self-identity and really trying to navigate that and figure that out. And it was hard. Like, I'm telling you, I was like, nah, this can't be. Like, God, you're not gonna have me do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was really, really challenging. And I wanted to throw the towel in. I wanted to give up. I'm like, there's no way. Like, it's been 2 years. I'm like, a year? Okay, maybe we can talk. But I'm like, 2? Like, come on now. But I'm so grateful that I did, because I'm truly seeing the fruits of my labor. I'm truly seeing what obedience, you know, can do, and what God can unfold with obedience and with steadfastness. And when I'm at Fairfield, and I just see my purpose. I see my purpose in so many different ways that I'm like, this is why. This is why. And I'm so grateful that I stayed the course. I'm so grateful, because I didn't see it in the time, but I see it now.
It was all a setup. That's what it was. Like you said, you was being rejected. But I look at it as, and I've heard someone say, rejection is God's protection. So listen, you wasn't supposed to be at those places. That's not what he had set out for you. He just wanted you to trust him, and that's what you needed to do. And I know it looked hard, and you felt like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Like, I'm supposed to be in this, and he has me in that, but it all worked out for your purpose, and look where you're at now. So you had to go through all of those stages just to get to where he has you. So listen, y'all, look at it as the rejection is God's protection. It may not make sense at that time. It may seem like it's confusing, and you may not know what he's trying to do, but he's stirring up something, and he's setting you up for something bigger. And look where you at now. So, I'm glad that you did not throw in the towel. I'm glad that you stayed on course and you did not give up, and you allowed God to place you where he has you now. So that's truly amazing. What are some things, during those difficult times that you learned?
I would definitely say that I learned the power of perspective. When you said, a rejection versus, being God's protection is, with the power of perspective, I thought about it in terms of, it's not a rejection, it's a redirection, right?
That's right.
Because when I was going through it, God was closing those doors with all intention. He knew where I was supposed to be, right? So for me, I looked at it as a rejection. And also, when I think about God working on me, I feared rejection a lot. I feared rejection. So I wouldn't go in spaces, and I wouldn't take certain risks because I feared rejection. But then God had to put me in that extremely uncomfortable position, because now you try to tell me no, that's fine, because somebody's going to say yes, right? But I find comfort in that now. Before, it was very timid and very scared and very unsure at that time. But I really learned the power of perspective, because it's so easy to be in a difficult situation and think, woe is me, right? Like, oh my God, I'm going through this. God, why is this me? Like, why am I going through this? Why are you putting me through this? Then to take that moment to say, God, what are you trying to teach me in this season? God, what am I supposed to learn in this season, right? Because then you're completely open to understand where you're supposed to be. Not where you want to be, but where you're supposed to be, right? So when you talk about perspective, even looking at a rejection versus a redirection, because a rejection has a negative connotation associated with it. But when you look at a redirection, you look at purpose, you look at it's more powerful, and it's more empowering. So now it's just like, even hearing no, some people get like, they get shut down when that door closes. It's like, well, one of these doors got to open. So let's go ahead and,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I will say.
Love that. I love that. It's not rejection, it's redirection. And that's awesome. I love that outcome that you just got from that. We said rejection in the beginning, but no, it's not rejection, it's redirection. God's directing us somewhere else. He is setting us up to put us where we are supposed to be. So sometimes I'm thankful for God's no's. I am truly thankful. The no's are letting me know that there's something better, something bigger. So I don't have to get stuck on that. Yeah, it probably might hurt, but he knows what's best for us. So I am so glad that you came up with that. You came up with listen, it ain't forget that. It ain't even rejection, it's redirection. And he redirected me into something greater. And that is truly, truly amazing. What else do we have for today? How have you handled business, during this pandemic? Has everything, I know that you just started off this year. So how has business been going? Have you been being booked for a lot of things? How has it been flowing so far?
I mean, business has been great. When I first launched in July, I was booked literally back to back. I think I had 8 bookings back to back. So that was about 2 months. I mean, grateful, blessed, and tired, because I was like, oh, hold on, God. I wasn't ready. I didn't know you were going to show out like this.
Honey, when he show out.
Okay. Listen, okay, God didn't come to play. So, it's been good, particularly the summer and also COVID with people having more intimate gatherings, right? We can't go to the bar, so let me bring the bar to you, So it was just kind of like, even having that to appeal to people was just a great pitch for people because they were having, smaller intimate gatherings and things of that sort. My last booking was, I want to say, the end of October. It was cold, but I was like, I ain't think this through because, it's cold now. I don't have any Yo Bar hoodies yet, like, so on and so forth, or certain attire that you don't think about because it's like I launched in the summertime, right? So now it's like, okay, we got to think things through. But business has been great. I'm just grateful for every single person who has booked me, who has inquired. It's just been amazing. I mean, it's truly been more than I could have imagined. As I said earlier, I never really had a heart to be like an entrepreneur. I didn't. I just, had an idea, had a vision that I knew that the only way to bring it to fruition was to do it on my own and to make it my own. And that's how it came about. So everything's great. And I'm just thankful, honestly.
And you are making it your own. What you're doing is very unique. And it's you. It fits you. Like I said earlier, you are supposed to be doing this. This is something that he has set aside for you beside, you being the associate director, at Fairfield University. But I see the spark in you when you're doing this. So this is set for you to do. And listen, you didn't know it was going to be cold out there that day, but we have to make those mistakes so that when you do book next time, you'll know, what to prepare for next year, for when you get more bookings around that time. But that's a good thing. Like, you just did what you had to do. But who or what has inspired you?
In business or just in general?
You can go either way. It's a general question.
Okay.
So business or life, it doesn't matter.
I would say in terms of business, and in many respects, in life, I would definitely say my sister Kat. She is a businesswoman, K-Chic Boutique, K-Chic Fashion Therapy.
Nice.
She lives and breathes business. I watch her, how she moves, how she does things. And I'm gonna be honest, that probably was one of the reasons why I was like, I don't know if I want to be an entrepreneur because I see all the hard work that she does all the time. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot. I'm like, I'm gonna go take this nap. Meanwhile, she's still doing X, Y, and Z.
It ain't for the weak.
At all. Listen, I'm learning now, okay? But I would definitely say just to keep going, and I look at other people and their success stories. And I think, and I look at it in terms of an aspiration or an inspiration, right? Not a competition, but truly to say, wow, if they were able to do X, Y, and Z, I'm sure that I can do whatever it is that I want to do. When I look at just all that people have going on and I'm like, and they still did this and they still did that. Like, what's my excuse? Like I can do that too. And I feel that we just need to continuously lift, each other up. But all in all too, I would definitely say, I know I just shouted my sister out, but my family at large, each and every one of them definitely inspires me. I'm very much connected and close to them all. And just in different ways, they inspire me in different ways. They pour into me in different ways. That I'm just truly grateful for. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Family is everything. We need our family support. So, and your sister, yes, she is doing her thing. So I knew you was most likely going to say you were inspired by her and, you look to her for certain things because she's truly amazing. What she's doing, and what she's putting out there is amazing. And her spirit, you guys have almost the same spirit. And I just love seeing queens out there doing their thing. And your sister is one of them, and so are you. So that's a good thing. I'm glad.
I also want to point out, to continue to give her a shout out, though, when we talk about my journey of 18-year-old coach, if it wasn't for my sister during that time, I don't think I would have made it, to be honest with you, because her being, even though she's only a few years older than me, it's like you have certain expertise or areas of experience that I don't have, you know? And she was always able to be like, Yolehema, look at it from this perspective, or think about this way or that way. And she was in spaces that I wasn't in. And truly, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for her, I don't know how I would have survived that, because it was definitely a huge, huge task. And an overwhelming task at times. So, Kat, I love you, best friend.
Shout out to Kat, and she has a boutique in Fairfield, a brick and mortar, and it is K Sheet Boutique, right?
Yes.
Yes, so definitely go visit her. I know this is about Yolehema, but we definitely wanted to give a shout out to Kat, and she is actually last year's 2020 Black People Rock Go-Getter, and her sister is getting the same award this year. So kudos to them on that. And what have you learned over your lifetime that you would like to share with the younger generation, or just anyone that's coming up or looking to go into business or looking to do some things? But what have you learned that you just want to share?
I would say one of the things that I've definitely learned, or at least I think about it as I've learned, as also when I reflect things that I wish I could have done even differently in a sense, is take risks, right? I feel that growing up, I didn't really take risk, or I didn't feel empowered to take risks. I couldn't take risks. I was scared to take risks. And I think taking risk, or saying taking risks, is the lighthearted version, but really failure, right? And what we perceive as failure, you know, having an opportunity to fail, right? When you're young, it has much more of a different impact and perspective than when you're an adult and then you quote unquote fail, or you're taking these risks, because again, you've been so accustomed to be in this box. Because what happens when you don't take risks is you're confined into this box, right? You're confined to what you know. And when you're so confined into what you know, you don't have an opportunity to grow, because you keep doing what's comfortable. You keep doing what you already know. You keep doing those same things. And again, it may make you feel good. It may be like, okay, I'm just going to stay in this corner because like that's comfortable for me, but you're not going to grow. And that was my reality for a very long time. It was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. That looks dangerous. Like I'm cool over here. I know what I'm doing in this corner, so I'm gonna stay in this corner over here, right? Because again, that's comfortable. And one of the things that I always say, just in general, and also to my students, is we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We have to.
That's right.
We have to put ourselves in those spaces in order to really grow, because in discomfort is when we grow. We grow in discomfort, right? When I just shared my experience about, you know, not having a career, or doing every and anything and working odd jobs and doing this and that, you know, to make a living, but not really making a name for myself in a sense, and being miserable, like making money, but being miserable. And that's another thing. We probably won't get into that today, but that's another thing. And we have to really think about that, right? We have to think about our purpose. But again, if we don't take risks, are we really able to get to our purpose? Can we really get to our purpose if we don't take those risks? Because God wants to take those risks, right? He is going to put you in positions, and he's going to sit back and watch and say, is she going to do what I told her to do? You know, and that's why obedience is important. And I mean, listen, I'm not always obedient. It's hard, because it's hard. It's hard. You know,
to me right now, my God.
But you know,
listen,
take risks. It is one of the biggest ones that I would say. And then another thing that I would say that I've learned or I've come into is being unapologetically yourself. And really what that looks like, right? And for me, something that I either wish I would have done earlier, or wish somebody really could have really like mentored me through, was also being very much confident in my Blackness, right? Today, I'm very confident in my Blackness. Like, I know who I am, and I show up unapologetically myself every day in every space that I'm in. But when I was growing up, I can't say that that was the truth. I can't say that was reality. No matter how I appeared to other people, they may have looked at me as confident, but I'll tell you right now, that was a false sense of confidence, right? Because I was still trying to navigate who I was. I was still trying to figure out, okay, who I am, right? Even at something as simple as hair, right? We look at hair and how you wear your hair. It's like, anybody who knows me knows I'm a fan of wigs. right? But when you were growing up, wigs and weaves was more so, so that you can feel beautiful, or it was more so, connected to beauty and things of that nature, right? But when Black women wear their hair, it's like it has these other negative connotations in a sense, right? But when I show up now, it's like you can see me today with my wig on, you can see me tomorrow with my naps that God gave me. What's up? Like, but
okay.
because I want to, because I know who I am. And something that my brother said to me that stuck with me was, he said, when I see a Black woman wearing their natural hair, I always make sure to compliment them, because I knew that it took, it took some type of sacrifice, some type of courage for you to step out, because you're going against the grain, right? You're going against societal expectations and what they tell you that we should look like, right? And I'm just telling you right now, that's big for me. Like I'm truly stepping into who I'm supposed to be. And also, that's truly why I started the Women of Color Group initiative at Fairfield University, because it took me until almost 30 to feel this way and to feel this empowered and to really be like, I'm showing up the way I'm showing up. Okay. Like, this is who I am. Okay. Before, it wasn't that. So I don't have this false sense of confidence anymore, because I know who I am. But there were times where I didn't know who I was, and I was faking it. Like, I literally, externally, people probably thought I was confident. I remember I was in an interview, and somebody asked me, they said, when you come into a room, you demand respect, or you demand like this kind of, like, you have this energy about you, or this confidence about you. How can you help others to feel empowered in that way? And I looked there, and I don't remember what I said in that interview, but I'm like, that's really interesting, because I don't feel that way. Like, but that's how you're looking at me. That's how you view me. But I'm so happy and so empowered to say that, like, now I feel that way about myself. So now I'm going to take that. And like I said earlier, it's bigger than me, because I'm going to also carry that down to other individuals so that they can be empowered too, to say, when you show up, you need to show up unapologetically you. And whatever that looks like, you may not know what that is, and that's okay. But when you do, hold on to that.
Girl, didn't she just preach up in here? She just preached.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, she just preached. Let me tell you, you spoke to my soul. It's I say it all the time. There was plenty of times, and I even with last year, this year, I was supposed to do my Know Your Worth conference, and the theme for the Know Your Worth conference was mask off. Like, remove the mask, take the layers off, and be who God has called you to be. Stop throwing stuff under the rug, and stop showing up not you. And I know I've done that for so long. Even I can say, even in this pandemic, okay, God had to take me and put me in the corner in that closet and say, there's still some things that you need to remove. There's still some things that are not right within your heart. I need to help you get rid of that. And I had to get delivered from those things. So now you see Tashaya. You don't see who I was pretending to be, trying to fit into a crowd, trying to please people. No, I'm showing up as me. I'm showing up unapologetic, like she said, and I'm showing up in authority because I can take it, because God gave it to me. So listen, I am all for it, girl. You said a whole mouthful, and it has blessed my heart on today. I don't know about y'all, but she blessed me. Yes. What was that you said in the beginning? I got so hung up on the showing up as yourself and being authentic. But you said something prior to that, and about failing. We have to fail in order to get to the top, in order to win, in order to do what God has called us to do. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fall. I actually posted something today on my Facebook page, and it was from a quote from Nelson Mandela. And he said, the greatest glory in living is not in failing, but rising every time we fall. So no matter how many times you fall, how many times you fell or fall, you can rise again. You can be greater than what you were before. And I don't even want to go any further. She just said a whole mouthful. She done preached the whole word. We can end the live on that. Okay. But that was truly, truly amazing. I am encouraged just by your words, and that really, you set some stuff on fire. Just be you. I mean, everybody else is taken. Be you.
I literally have
Show
things
up
in my office
as
that says that.
you. What'd you say?
I literally have a canvas in my office that says "Be you." Everyone else is already taken. Literally,
Listen,
that I'm like, yes.
you know, and we need more authentic people. We you don't have to front. We done that long enough, fronting for people, fronting for social media. But being who we truly are is what changes people's lives. You don't want them to see one thing and they're inspired by that, but that's a whole lie, you know? So I'm grateful that you are showing up authentic. You are noticing that you have to fail sometimes. You know, failing is growth. You have to fail in order to win. So take those failures and put them in a bag and just say, okay, I failed. That's all right. Now I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna try again and just be authentic. I love it. I'm encouraged today with that. Listen.
I want to share even a quote, because when we talk about perspective, perspective is everything, right? And there's a quote that I, always share, and it says, "For I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work." Right? So even we have to think about how we view failure, right? Because again, failure has a negative connotation. And for some people, it's hard to hear failure and then to get back up and try again, right? But when you hear like, okay, this just didn't work, right? This didn't work for me, so I got to try something else. So for I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that have not worked. So you got to find a way that works for you, because when you do find that way, and to go off of what you said too, is you didn't give up, because you fail once you give up. But if you never give up, you're going to find what works for you.
Listen, in business, let me tell you something. I'm doing Black People Rock honors. You think I didn't fail so many times before I'm still going to continue to fail. There's something that's going to happen again, but it's all in me staying on course and not giving up and doing what God has called me to do. So there's been times that I wanted to just crawl up in my bed, and I have done that. And I was embarrassed, had to pick my face up off the ground plenty times, because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe this happened. And I'm like, this is my business. This has my name on it. Oh my God, they're going to hate me. And then, God is looking at me like, that's all a part of the journey. You have to know how to fail in order to cross that out so that you can make better choices and you'll know how to move the next time. And then you have to listen to my voice and for my direction on how to move forward as well. So sometimes we get caught up in our own stuff and we want to go our way, but is that what God is telling us to do? So I'm telling you, I failed plenty of times, and I don't really necessarily say it's just failed. I just didn't cross every T. I didn't dot every I. And I had to go through those experiences to get to where I'm at now. Now, this whole year, we didn't do anything, no events. And this year I had to move out of the state because that's what he called for me to do. But in all of that, he was preparing me. He was like, you're not doing nothing this year. I want to prepare you so that you're prepared to step into the next shift of what I have for you. So listen, all those mistakes you made, write it down. And now we're going to see how to move forward for next time. Write it down. We ain't going to make that mistake no more. And if it is a mistake, it'll be like you started 5 or 10 minutes late, but we don't want to make those big mistakes. Right. We want to move forward. And I'm grateful for anything. And I know that you're grateful for those things that has happened in your life, because it just causes us to fall forward into what we're supposed to be doing and to fall into our destiny and to fall into what God is calling us to do. So listen, yes. Listen, we could talk about this all day, honey. I'm telling you. We can talk about this all day. I love it. Listen, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And it doesn't mean that you stop. It doesn't mean that you throw in the towel. It just means, like she says, you redirect. You have to go a different route, and you have to, you stick to the formula, but it's just, you have to do something different. And I'm excited. Girl, She preached. I love it. Yes. Yes, sister said, I told you she brilliant. Yes, she is up here preaching and stuff and got a whole thing full of nuggets, just came up here prepared and ready to slay the people. I love it. If there's anything that you could do different, you probably don't say no, but I do ask this question in your life, what would it be?
I think that was, the same thing that I said earlier in regards to previous question that was asked, but it is to take risks, and it is being unapologetically myself and being confident in my Blackness at an earlier age, I would say, because again, when I talk about coming into who I am, I'm 30 years old, and I'm not saying that, I understand that that's not old or anything of that sort, but when I reflect on the things that I could have done, I don't live in regret ever, but I do reflect, right? I don't dwell, but I reflect. And I think about, spaces that I could have influenced at different times, right? And truly, I believe everything happens for a reason. So wherever I was meant to be at that time. But I just, again, like I said, I reflect on certain things. And that's why when I say I wish I could have done it differently, I think about people who are younger than me, right? And I'm like, I want to empower them so heavily because I'm like, I wish I would have done this, or I wish somebody would have poured into me this way. So it's like, if I could have done that differently, again, taking risks at an earlier age, I truly didn't start taking risks last couple of years, I would say. Maybe 3, like literally most certainly between the last 3 to 5. And that's pushing it. When we talk about taking risks, because I grew up in a space where you weren't really allowed to take risks. Like you were just supposed to know. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to know if like, I don't know, like, I never learned it. And again, not having that platform and not having that ability, and knowing that it's okay. And that also, and I think I'm going a little bit off, but that also has created me to be the supervisor that I am too. And I always encourage my supervisees, my interns, or whomever to take risks. And they're always a little apprehensive. They're like what? I'm like, it's okay. This is a learning opportunity. And you have to take those because listen, those learning opportunities are going to look real different when the stakes are higher. So take them now. And I just wish that somebody allowed me, because now, even though I'm taking risks, the stakes are higher. So I'm like, even though I'm taking them, I'm a little nervous, at times I'm a little like, okay, but I understand that the stakes are higher. And when you can take that, whether you're in high school or undergrad or grad school or whatever, or early in your professional career, you have a little bit of wiggle room, right? You have a little bit of comfort when it comes to taking risks. So particularly for my young people, take risks. So
you don't ever want to be in a place where you feel like you should have, could have, would have. Yep. So definitely, do it. If you see that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes, like you said, you have to take risks out there and just jump in and do it. You won't know unless you try. You will not know. So that's truly amazing. That advice was truly amazing for people that definitely is looking to do anything, take risks, and you won't know unless you try. You will not know unless you try. Is there anything new that's coming up, any projects or anything we should look out for?
I will definitely be releasing some holiday promotions. And then into the new year, there will be some Yobar apparel that you can look out for. And then currently we still have our masks for sale, our Yobar masks, as well as our wine glasses. We have stemless wine glasses and our classic wine glasses as well. So, and then I'll always keep everyone informed as the time comes for anything new that comes about.
Awesome. And are there any like businesses or anyone that you're working with or that you're partnering with, or where does your support come from?
My family. Okay. But I look to my family first before anything else. Again, as I've said, I'm very new in this business industry. But my support comes from my family. I have been running Yobar with my sister Mishka, who has literally been my rock in all of this. When you're starting a business, you have to make sure that you can do it by yourself, right? And I can do it by myself, but Lord, if I had to do it by myself, I don't even know what that would look like. But to have, my sister come alongside me and to be at every event with me and to be supporting me and to say, teach me, what do you need me to do? That in and of itself is so supportive. But honestly, it's literally just been my family. When I think about me, my family and my friends, I would definitely, say when I think about starting the business, right? At first, I'm a person, I used to be a person that keep ideas to myself and keep everything to myself and not really let the people know, what I'm doing or whatever the case is. And not for any particular reason, but just because I grew up also not letting people know, what was going on with me. Right. And that's the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. But my family, when it comes to this, my business, particularly my brother and sister, co-collaborated to create my logo. My sister has my other brother. So Kat and my brother Ricky co-collaborated. My brother Mo was like, it needs more shading on this side. Think about it this way. It looks like this. Then we have Mishka, who comes to every event with me. My friends who have booked me, who have poured into me. And I think that's that is so important. The support that you get when you're launching an idea, right? Because when I first wanted to launch Yobar, I was in a space where I was like, it was kind of okay, I could or I can't, right? And the supports that I had around me were so crucial for the you do or you don't at that time, right? When I spoke it into existence, into the air, it was received by people who pour into me. I know I was talking to one of my best friends, Mickey, and she was like, yeah, you should totally do it. She was like, I'll book you. And she did, she booked me. And I was like, wow, well, if she's going to book me, at least I know that I'll have one booking. My sister Kat, she booked me for one of her events. My friends were just like, do it. You should do it. Going back to Mishka too, she's the reason why I actually had my launch party. Because when I told her about my business idea, she's like, oh, so when's the launch? And she's started planning the launch ideas and whatever. I'm like, there's no launch. What do you mean? Relax. And she was like, no, we have to do this and we have to do that, and just pouring into me. And then we had this conversation at my house. And when she left, she sent me money for her launch ticket. And I'm like, there's no launch. But the fact that she did that I was like, okay, so now I'm gonna have a launch, so that empowered me and encouraged me and supported me to really start this, because I knew that I had support. Because at that time, if somebody would have said to me, that's a dumb idea, you shouldn't do that, I was not strong enough in this business idea for me to combat that. And I probably would have been like, you know what, you're probably right. Versus if any negativity comes, I was already strong enough. I was already strong enough in my idea. I was strong enough in my support system that I was like, nah, this is what I'm going to do. I was confident enough, but that came with support. So I have not yet collaborated with other businesses, but I'm looking to in the new year. But when Yobar launched, it was literally just myself and my family who had my back. Unwavering support, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm able to even talk about this new business venture.
Wow. Support is truly, truly amazing, especially when it's coming from your family and friends, and to know that they had your back and they was like, you doing this. All right, this is what you're going to do, this how you're going to do it. Then we're going to support you in this. And your sister's like, you're having a launch and sending you that's truly amazing. And I know that makes your heart smile to know that somebody is, definitely supporting you and loving on you in that nature. We need that, when we don't have support from people, it doesn't make us want to do some of the things, we're going to say, oh, I don't need support, I don't need this. You do. You need people to support you. You need people to clap for you and celebrate you. You do need that. It keeps you going. And when you look back, you're like, you know what? They was rocking with me the whole time. And I'm glad for that. So I'm glad to hear that your family and your friends have been sticking by you and, helping you along the way. That's truly amazing. Truly. You kind of done gave out, because I always ask if there's any shout outs, right? But you done gave all your shout outs already. But if you want to shout anybody else out, you are more than welcome to do that, Queen.
Shout outs I gave to my family. Again, my sister Mishka, my sister Kat, my brothers, Ricky, Mo, my best friends, Mickey, Gloria, Tika, just everybody who has really supported me, supporting an idea that I may have had. I really just want to shout out all my clients, everybody who has inquired, everybody who has booked. I'm just so grateful. I'm just so humbled. My mom's always like, I don't know about this, but what can I do? What can I do to help? Which is just super important and super supportive, you know, throughout this journey, you know, and this journey truly has just started. But I'm just so ready to see the next level that God's going to take this, who I'll be able to work with, who I'll be able to connect with, the spaces that he's going to put me into. Like I said, again, I love to celebrate people. I mean, I've celebrated housewarmings, birthdays, business anniversaries, just so many great things where I'm like, oh my God. And truly, even the feedback that I get from the business is like, you know, so sweet, so personable, so this and that. And I'm just like, this is just a reflection of who I am. Like, I don't put on a business hat when it comes to my business. Like, this is who I am. And that's why it doesn't feel like work. It's second nature. Like I said earlier, I don't treat any of my clients or any of their guests differently than I would for someone walking into my home. So shout out to everyone who has believed in me. I feel like I'm on a BET Awards. I love y'all all.
Yes, you will be, girl. Keep saying it. You're gonna be somewhere.
I love y'all. I wouldn't be who I am without y'all. Yeah, I'm just happy to be continuing to become the woman that God has me to be, because he's not done with me yet. So I got a lot of growing to do. I'm fully, you know, an understanding of that. And it's a process, you know, it's a journey, and I'm here for the ride.
I had an amazing time with you tonight. She gave insight on how she started, advice, and she preached. She did a whole sermon up in here. Listen, passing my offering plate right to her. She preached and she inspired me, and she gave me some nuggets, and I'm truly just blessed to have her on this platform with me. If you want to support this queen, definitely follow her on Facebook. That's her name on Facebook. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, this is her yobar_services. You can follow her on Instagram. Do you have a website or anything yet?
Not currently. It's under construction.
Okay, awesome. And then just continue to follow her. She's truly amazing. You want to book her for your wedding, birthday party, anniversary, sweet 16. Listen, she does not just serve alcoholic drinks. She serves mocktails. So she will service you to whatever your need is. So book her, love on her, support this queen. She is truly amazing. I just got so many nuggets here today. We started off by saying, she was rejected, and we said rejection is God's protection. But then she said, no, it's not rejection, it's redirection. And she spoke about failing. Sometimes we have to fail. We have to fall to get to what God is calling us to do and be. And she spoke about being your authentic self. Wow. That's truly amazing. Walking into the room, being you, no one else, but being you, walking in your purpose, walking in what God has called you to do, and being who you are and who you're supposed to be, not someone else, but walking in your purpose. And I'm just excited about this interview. I thank you, Queen, for coming on tonight. You were truly amazing, and I support you. I celebrate you. She is also, again, she is getting the Go Getter Award next year for Black People Rock Honors. So you will be able to support her at the awards ceremony for that as well. Is there anything that you want to leave? Any advice? Just any tips? You done preached, you done did everything already. But is there anything that you would like to say, before we get off?
Honestly, Tashea, I just want to say thank you so much for having me today. And I just want to encourage everyone to share their story. I know for me, growing up, I grew up, not sharing my story. I grew up very closed. I grew up, people not really knowing me deep down inside who I am. But I've learned that there's power in your testimony. There's power in your story. Not only for yourself, is it not only liberating for yourself, but it's liberating for other people as well. So again, I'm going to go ahead and say what I said earlier, is that it's bigger than you. So it's not only about you, it's about those that you can empower and inspire along the way. So again, if you don't want to share your story, think about why you don't want to share your story. And is it a selfish reason as to why you don't want to share your story? Because if it is, remember, it's bigger than you. But again, Tashea, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story, and truly to be an open book. So I appreciate you. I commend you for all that you do. You're amazing. And just, again, keep doing it. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you. I love what you said about sharing your story. We have to. We don't know who we're going to help. And that's why I opened this up. It's not just about us walking across the stage, getting an award, dressing up, but you don't know the things that people have been through. You don't know the things they had to conquer, and you don't know the reason. You don't know their why they kept going, why they started. So I wanted to open this up to entrepreneurs, community leadership, and just people out there that are walking in their purpose and doing whatever it is that God has called them to do, to share their story, to open up and to be real and let people in, and just, not telling all your business, but just letting them into your story and letting them know, listen, if I can do it, you can do it too. And if I went through this, listen, let me tell you how I got out of it, and let me tell you how you can get out of it. So this is why I'm doing this, and I can't wait to interview so many more amazing people like you. Listen, we are going to continue to do this until God tells me not to do it. So listen, I am going to continue sharing people's stories, because we want to hear your story. We want to know what you've been through, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to have you tonight. You have been a blessing, such a sweetheart, and like you said, it's bigger than me, and that's what I tell people all the time. This is bigger than me. Black People Rock Honors is bigger than me. This is something that God is using me to do, to shine a light on others, to sprinkle a little love around, and that's what you're doing as well. So I commend you. I celebrate you, Queen, and I thank you for being a part of Black People Rock Live series. You're truly amazing. And this is Yolehema Felican, Yo Bar Services. Please support her. And she's also Associate Director for Fairfield University. She's a queen. She do it all. And we celebrate you, Queen. So thank you so much. And I appreciate you. And keep doing your thing as well. And I appreciate the love and support from you and from everyone else. Make sure you like, comment, and share this broadcast so you can let other people know her story. And I can't wait to have some more of you up here. And it's going to be truly, truly amazing. So we love you. We see you, we celebrate you, and do whatever it is that God is calling you to do. Walk in your purpose. Be you. Be authentically you, because everyone else is taken. So the only thing that you can do is be you. And guess what? When you be you, doors will open. And I'm telling you, we had an amazing time tonight. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the support. And we love you. And we are heading out tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And we will see you next Monday. Love you guys.
out here making changes on the planet. I know this one chick who sell a bunch of hair weave. Shouldered out the car, stacked her paper. Next thing I know, shorty got a shot. Caramel with a killing salon. This how the whole block got on. One dream, now million. She won. This one's to all my girls who grand for profession. Supermodel, super follow, get 'em. This year of the boss babe queen. Write a book, start a business dream. Oh, yes girl, you go. Have a party at the bank, take a shot, celebrate. She won, she won, she won, she won. Don't try to deny it, she on fire and you like it, click her heart 2 times. She won. She be winning and you like it, you be watching, you inspired, don't deny it, it's alright. She won. Don't try to deny it, she on fire and you like it, click her heart 2 times. She won. She be winning and you like it, you be watching, you inspired, don't deny it, it's alright. This one's to all my